Hello everyone. Up until the last video, we have covered all three loop structures in Java. They are for, while, and do while loops. So in this video, we're going to briefly talk about break and continue statement and see how to use them to change the structure of a loop. So let's first create a new project. Still same thing, and call it break and continue and finish. Okay. So let's take a look at an example. A very simple example, just to print out number 0 to 10. Okay, and let's write this using for loop. So for, and then define our iterator I0, and then I less than 11, and then increment I, and curly braces. All we need is to output the I. So yeah, now let's run this to see what the output looks like. So we have print out 0 to 10 correctly. Very good. Now I want to change the problem a little bit. So we don't want any number which is greater than 5 be printed out. So I only want to print out 0 to 5. One way we can do this is just change this Boolean condition. If I less than 6, right? And any number that is greater than 5 should not be printed out. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to use the break statement to achieve this. So here is what I'm going to do. Before we print out I in every iteration, we want to do a if statement and see if I is greater than 5. So if I is greater than 5, what we want to do is we want to just simply break. So now let's run the program and see what the result looks like. Now it only prints out 0 to 5. Remember when we talk about switch statement, after every case, we write a break. And this is the same break as before. So break basically means break out of the current code block. So if you see break inside a for loop or any loop, it just means terminate the loop early. Okay, usually for loop, this is our termination condition, right? Once I is greater than 11, we should not loop anymore. But if we met the break condition before we met this, the break condition will take effect and terminate the loop early. So let me write this out. Break will terminate the loop early. Okay? And that's how break works. And you can use break in any loop: for loop, while loop, and do while loop. Next, let's take a look at continue statement. I'll still use this example, but first, let's comment out the break statement. And this time, instead of printing everything from 0 to 10, I only want to print out all the even numbers, which are 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. I want to skip all the numbers and print out only the even numbers. And let's see how to do that using the continue statement. So first, we'll have a if statement. And this if statement is used to find out if I is odd or not. So if I is odd, which will use the remainder operator, right? And not equal to 0, which means I is odd, right? So if this happened, what we want to do is we want to continue. And that's it. And let's see if we get the result. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There we go. That's what we wanted. So what I did here is that I make a if statement and see if I is even. So whenever this is true, which means I is odd, and we want to continue, what continue does is that it will skip the rest of the iteration. So don't execute any of the rest of the statement and start the next iteration immediately. Okay? So whenever I is 1 or 3 or 5, it will not be printed out. Instead, it will start the next iteration, which will begin with I++. So let me write this out. Continue will stop the current iteration, start the next iteration immediately. Okay. So now we basically learned everything about loops and breaks and continues. In next video, we're going to learn about arrays.